Re:Zero Kara Hajimeru Isekai Seikatsu, also translated as Re:Zero Starting Life in Another World. This first impression will cover episodes 1 to 3. This series is set primarily in a fantasy-type world centered around a boy named Subaru Natsuki. He is from the real world that we ourselves live in. One day, for unknown reasons, he was summoned to this fantasy world after he was about to go back home from a convenience store. Now I know what y'all thinking. This sounds a lot like Konosuba. I mean, the initial premises are nearly identical. Main male protagonist is a shut-in in a tracksuit who plays games all day and has little or no interaction with the outside world, who all of a sudden gets placed in a situation in which he is transported to a typical medieval culture fantasy world with magic, monsters, demi-humans, and the like. So the question is, what's the difference? Despite their similar settings, both are largely different in their approaches towards this genre. As he explores the area he was suddenly placed in, he gets attacked by a group of thugs. He is soon saved by a beautiful silver-haired girl and her cat spirit. They get off at a rough start, but after a few exchanges, Subaru decided he wanted to help her and soon after convinced her to let him cooperate with her to find her stolen insignia. When they finally manage to get a clue, both Subaru and the girl are attacked and killed by an unknown person. And from this point on, it starts getting weird. After supposedly dying, Subaru then awakens at the same place he was summoned at. It is at this time that we begin to get the idea that he has the power to travel back in time and return from death to when he first came to this world, and only he remembers the events that have happened. You'll figure it out as you progress through the story, but it turns out he can activate this power by dying, regardless of the circumstances. Re:Zero is introduced with a slight undertone of melancholy and horror, as though dark forces are behind something evil happening later on, but soon becomes very lighthearted and comical in the story's introduction to the character's role in the plot. This is very similar to Konosuba in this sense, in that a lush, lively world is introduced as the main setting. However, the main distinguishing factor of the two is that Konosuba continues this feeling of lightheartedness and fun, whereas Re:Zero slowly gets darker and more grimming as the story progresses. I thoroughly enjoyed Konosuba as it was just plain out fun to watch, but so far I can confidently say that Re:Zero can be a series that can be just as good, if not better. The series starts out with a 2-part first episode, each with the length of a typical 23-minute episode. This serves as somewhat of a prologue to introduce the setting. Honestly, I thought they did a splendid job with the first episode. A huge mystery surrounds Subaru of why he was summoned to this world and what he is supposed to do. This mystery of his purpose kept the show interesting as he meets more and more characters to figure out why he is here, and it ultimately ends with the death of all the major characters he meets. Of course, since he can go back in time, they all come back to life as well. The question now is, what will he do now given the knowledge of what may happen in the future? And what will become of him and this silver-haired girl? Only time will tell. One thing I don't like though is that I get a really uneasy feeling every time he turns back time, as all the relationships and connections he had with all the characters he interacted with get reset back to zero, hence the title of the show. It's just such a shame that all that hard work of getting to know people gets put under when he dies, which is kinda not that far from reality when you think about it. It's more of a personal thought and bothers me at times, but it doesn't detract from the quality of the story, which I think is really good so far. Character designs were very well done. I loved how they did Subaru and the silver-haired girl, whose name I won't say due to spoilers, but if you took the time to watch the credits, you should already know by now. Honestly, at first I didn't like Subaru at all, as he looked like some smart aleck who knew it all, with an attitude as well as a bleak look at life. But I soon grew to like him as the story progresses, as it is revealed he is a carefree and nice kid, who may get a little bit ahead of himself at times. The silver-haired girl was a very likable character as well, a person who is caring and would go out of her way to help others. Someone who is not judgmental of others and gives everybody a fair chance, a very admirable trait that I would respect and be fond of in any character. I had a feeling that this series was going to be the better series of this season, but I didn't expect it to be this good. I don't think many people had high expectations for it, as they were looking forward to other series such as Boku no Hero Academia or the second season of Gakusen Toshi Asterisku. But hey, there's a reason why I started off my upcoming spring 2016 video with Re:Zero, and it turns out I was right. I'm just calling it right now. It's anime of the season. This series is scheduled to be a 25-episode series, but judging from how it is progressing so far, I really can't imagine how it can be that long and what series of events will happen that can be so elaborate to make it 2 cores instead of 1. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more and would highly recommend it. You can watch Re:Zero Kara Hajimeru Isekai Seikatsu as it airs on Crunchyroll. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. I'm considering doing another first impressions of another series this season, but I'm not sure how all of you would feel about that. Please tell me in the comments of what you think, but only if you want to, of course. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.